if I can find it. This is nice groom here. Good snow after the storm. I think the Mogul Run is right on the other side of this little ridge here. Yeah, that's it. All right. When I was 40 skiing moguls, I used to run into people who were 40 years old saying they don't ski moguls anymore, bad on the knees. 50s, I was skiing moguls, still found those people at 40 saying it's bad on the knees. I was still skiing moguls. 70, still skiing moguls. What about the knees? Well, you know, I think the knee situation is inflammation more so than injury. Now, if your knees are injured, that's a different story. And I'm not a doctor, so obviously you don't want to take anything I'm saying. I wouldn't even put a grain of salt with it. But if you can learn to separate inflammation from injury, I think what will happen is you'll see that if you start working on reducing inflammation, your knees won't hurt as bad. You can do a little test with and again, not medical advice. I'm just telling you what I know based on my study around neurotransmitter production and how at 50 we don't put enough of demand on ourselves, and as a result the brain stops making neurotransmitter because it's energy intensive to make neurotransmitter and the brain likes being efficient, so it's always looking to reduce it. It's using a process. This is why homeostasis happens. If you've ever lifted weights or done exercise, you know you hit these plateaus, and the way to beat the plateaus is you change it up every 6 weeks, because what happens is the system gets real efficient at lifting the weight in this example. And since it gets so efficient, it stops producing neurotransmitter, and now you're lifting with muscle, but with a weaker signal. If you've ever noticed, you could see some power lifters who are really small. They don't look strong at all, and they're power lifters. That's because they've been training the neural pathway, so the signal's real strong. The point is, when you lift a weight, it's part neural pathway signal, and it's part muscle. When you have atrophy, you have neural pathway atrophy and you have muscle atrophy. What's going on with the neural pathway, though, is a process called synaptogenesis. And with synaptogenesis, it prunes this. It's literally a pruning process where the dormant or the little used neural pathways, synapses is taken from them and it's put on the ones that are being activated. This is like, so it's beginning of the ski season, it's always a little bit awkward, you know, you got to get going. I think of it to stabilize the muscles, but it's actually to stabilize their neural pathways that have to get some synapses in them. It turns out, when you do exercises that drive neurotransmitter production, like footwork drills and sprinting, you get another benefit, and that other benefit is anti-inflammation. So it reduces inflammation. But the other thing is, by changing it up, constantly changing it up, you're getting other muscles involved, and it's not the opposite, but it's related to homeostasis, this thing called allostasis, whereas the brain is predicting how much demand something's going to take, and when the demand is higher, then it makes more neurotransmitter. And the more neurotransmitter you have, the more your neural pathways are working, and the less you have to work your muscle, and the less you work your muscle, the easier it is to do a thing without getting the inflammation. So that's kind of, I didn't use my notes, so I was basically, that wasn't clean. These moguls are a little bit bigger. I gotta stop talking to the moguls. Yeah, one of the ways I know I'm tired, real sloppy in the moguls, because it is neural pathway signal and it is part muscle. And when the muscle gets weak, when the sloppiness comes. Yeah, so the whole knee thing, you do other exercises like wall squats with the ball, deep knee bends, obviously work with the trainer, lunges, anything you can do to work those quads, glutes, and the stabilizer muscles. And as far as moguls, I don't ski moguls the way competitors do, but I don't have to turn back because I see a mogul field. And because we haven't had much snow, this is the first day I'm doing moguls. So in a few more outings, should get easier.